Do you think you are in control of your decisions? Think again. Most of us believe we make choices freely and rationally, but our minds are constantly being influenced by invisible psychological traps. These traps quietly steer our thoughts, actions, and ultimately, our lives, often without us even realizing it. Today, we're going to expose 10 of the most powerful ones so you can start to break free. First up is the sunk cost fallacy. Have you ever kept watching a terrible movie just because you've already watched an hour of it? Or stayed in a dead-end job because you've already invested years of your life? That's the sunk cost fallacy at work. We continue to invest time, money, or effort into something that's failing, simply because we've already invested so much. We mistakenly believe that throwing more resources at the problem will somehow justify our initial investment. But here's the tough truth. What's gone is gone. It's not commitment. It's a cognitive distortion that keeps you stuck. The rational move is to cut your losses and move on, but our brains hate to admit we made a bad initial decision. Recognizing this trap is the first step to making smarter choices about your future, not your past. Next, let's talk about the framing bias. The way information is presented to you dramatically alters your perception and your decision. Imagine you're at the store. You see one package of ground beef labeled 80% lean and another labeled 20% fat. Which one sounds healthier? Most people will pick 80% lean, even though they are the exact same product. The positive frame makes it more appealing. This isn't about logic. It's about influence. Marketers, politicians, and even your friends use framing to sway your opinion. A medical procedure with a 90% survival rate sounds much better than one with a 10% mortality rate. By being aware of how options are framed, you can look past the presentation and focus on the actual substance. Always ask yourself, is there another way to look at this information? This simple question can save you from being manipulated by clever wording. Now for a big one, confirmation bias. We all like to think we're open-minded, but the reality is, we actively seek out and favor information that confirms what we already believe. We surround ourselves with people who agree with us and consume media that reflects our worldview. Why? Because it's comfortable. It feels good to have our beliefs validated. The danger is that it creates an echo chamber, preventing us from seeing the full picture or considering alternative viewpoints. This isn't about finding the truth. It's about seeking comfort. If you believe a certain investment is a good idea, you'll look for articles that support your theory and dismiss the ones that don't. To counter this, you have to intentionally seek out dissenting opinions. Play devil's advocate with your own beliefs. It might be uncomfortable, but it's the only way to get closer to the truth. Let's move on to loss aversion. Psychologically, the pain of losing something is about twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. This means we'll often take irrational risks to avoid a loss. Think about the stock market. People will hold on to a losing stock for far too long, hoping it will bounce back, because selling it would mean accepting the loss. This isn't being cautious. It's being driven by fear. Loss aversion can make us overly conservative when we should be taking calculated risks, and reckless when we should be cutting our losses. It explains why money-back guarantees are so effective. We feel more comfortable making a purchase if we think we can avoid the loss of our money. Understanding this deep-seated fear of loss can help you evaluate risks more objectively. Then there's the anchoring effect. The first piece of information we receive about something to anchor has a disproportionate influence on our subsequent judgments. For example, when you're negotiating a salary, the first number mentioned sets the anchor for the rest of the conversation. If a car is initially priced at $60,000 and then marked down to $50,000, it seems like a great deal. But if it was initially priced at $45,000, $50,000 would seem expensive. This isn't a rational reference point. It's a form of manipulation. Retailers use it all the time with original prices to make sale prices seem more attractive. To avoid this trap, you need to ignore the initial anchor and do your own research to determine what a fair value is. Don't let the first number you see dictate your entire decision-making process. Have you ever noticed that recent events seem more important than they actually are? That's recency bias. Our brains give more weight to recent information and experiences, making us believe they are more significant or more likely to happen again. After a major news story about a plane crash, people might feel more afraid of flying, even though the statistical risk hasn't changed. In the workplace, a manager might give more weight to an employee's performance in the last month before a review, forgetting their solid work over the previous 11 months. This isn't about relevance, it's about timing. Recent events are just more vivid in our memory. To overcome this, you need to consciously take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Consider the long-term data and trends, not just what happened yesterday. Let's discuss social comparison. In the age of social media, this one is more powerful than ever. We have a natural tendency to evaluate our own worth, success, and happiness by comparing ourselves to others. We see curated highlight reels of our friends' lives, their perfect vacations, new homes, and career promotions, and we feel inadequate. We think comparing ourselves will motivate us to do better, but more often than not, it just distorts our self-worth and leads to envy and dissatisfaction. This isn't motivation. It's a distortion. The only person you should be comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Focus on your own journey, your own progress, and your own definition of success. Unplugging from the constant stream of comparison can be one of the healthiest things you do for your mind. Next is the halo effect. This is our tendency to let one positive trait of a person or brand influence our overall evaluation of them. For instance, if someone is physically attractive, we might subconsciously assume they are also intelligent, kind, and successful. This is why celebrity endorsements are so effective. We like an actor in a movie, so we're more likely to trust their opinion on a watch or a car. The same happens in reverse with the horn effect, where one negative trait makes us see everything else about them negatively. This isn't admiration or dislike. It's a shortcut our brain takes to make quick judgments. To fight it, we must evaluate different qualities independently. Just because someone is great at one thing doesn't mean they're great at everything. Now for a powerful and often overlooked trap: negativity bias. Our brains are hardwired to pay more attention to and give more weight to negative experiences over positive ones. Think about it. You can receive 10 compliments in a day, but one minor criticism is what you'll be thinking about that night. This was an evolutionary survival mechanism. It was more important to notice the tiger in the bush than the pretty flower next to it. But in modern life, it often just amplifies our fears and anxieties. We catastrophize minor setbacks and dwell on what could go wrong. This isn't realism. It's a distortion that can rob you of joy and keep you from taking chances. To counter it, you can practice gratitude and consciously focus on savoring the good moments, however small they may be. Finally, we have the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is a cognitive bias where people with low ability at a task overestimate their ability. In other words, they're too incompetent to recognize their own incompetence. You've probably met someone like this. They speak with great confidence about a topic they know very little about. Conversely, experts often underestimate their own abilities because they're so aware of how much they don't know. This isn't just about arrogance. It's a genuine misperception of one's own skill level. The path to wisdom begins with humility, with recognizing the limits of your own knowledge. Always be willing to learn and be skeptical of anyone who claims to have all the answers, including yourself. True confidence comes from competence, not from ignorance. So, there you have it, 10 invisible traps that are quietly controlling your mind every single day. From the sunk cost fallacy keeping you stuck in the past, to the negativity bias making you fear the future, these biases shape your reality. They aren't signs of weakness. They're just features of how the human brain works. But by becoming aware of them, you can start to question your impulses, challenge your assumptions, and make more conscious, deliberate choices. You can reclaim your freedom to think for yourself. Which of these psychological traps surprised you the most? Or which one do you see affecting your life right now? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading your insights, and I try to respond to everyone. If you found this valuable, a like and subscribe would be amazing. Thanks for watching.